Hello, everybody, and welcome back finally to another episode of Pro Wrestling Sim. This is the Extreme Revival mod, where we are booking 2006 after ECW has been revived in WWE, except we're doing it and making it more like it should have been. I am here with Bill, guest host again.
Am I really a guest host if I'm on every episode?
No, you're pretty much just my co-host for this.
Yeah.
I was
We're doing this instead of the podcast this week because Ryan saw 5 name wars in a row and went, fuck that, I'm dealing with Sandman matches instead.
That's very accurate. That's incredibly accurate because there's a Sandman match on the CCW.
Of course there is, because you'd be a fool to not use Sandman if you're trying to do ECW properly, even though he's not a good wrestler.
Yeah. So today we're gonna look at the next episodes of ECW and Smackdown, and then we'll leave it there so we can come back next episode to the Vengeance pay-per-view and have a big episode there, hopefully. So yeah, hopefully nobody gets caught up in with any drugs in this episode.
That would be really nice to do an entire episode without a drug bust.
That would be lovely, since apparently they've been doing weekly checks in this.
And they're piss testing people in their houses.
Yeah, incredible. If you missed,
We have people who aren't even coming to work because they're suspended who are getting popped for more drugs.
Yeah, if you missed the last episode, you missed some stuff. We have Mike Awesome and Just Incredible both suspended now, which ruined some plans. The people who were already suspended got resuspended, like Crispin Waltest and Val Venus. So stuff's been going awry, and
yeah, I am hoping they turn down the frequency that people pop for drugs on this, because even for 2006, it seems high.
Yeah, it definitely is high. Because I mean, this is they weren't.
We had like 8 people pop in 1 week.
Because I mean, it took the Benoit stuff for them to really crack down on it, and that was
Yeah, and even well, this game's tuned for modern era, so
Yeah.
it should be drug testing like the modern day. But even with the amount of people who were using drugs back then, it's relatively rare nowadays for someone to get caught.
Yeah, but the policies
It should
have also
account.
relaxed in the last few years too.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, like, you look at the height of the attitude of the wellness policy.
Yeah.
People aren't stupid. They're going to try to work their drug use around the wellness policy, so they shouldn't all be getting caught for showing up high with known drug tests.
Yeah. Gotta get the cycle right.
Yeah, that's why I think it's probably a little unrealistically high, because it seems like it's just if they use drugs, they get caught for using drugs.
Yeah.
And that's not the way it works in real life.
Talking about using the cycle right reminds me of some periods where Triple H would obviously be off the cycle on some Raws.
Yeah, well, you heard the Kevin Nash story about that, right? Or no, not Kevin Nash, it was Scott Steiner.
I think you've told me it, but I don't really.
He was going to get he got a call to come in for a steroid test.
Yeah, I remember this.
And he goes, sure, just send Triple H around with the limo, and we can both go get tested together.
Yeah, and then they left him alone.
They never tested him because they knew Triple H couldn't pass.
That's a classic. That's one of my favorite Steiner stories.
I mean, it's Steiner, so there's at least a 33.3% chance that it's not true, but...
Yeah, true.
And another 33.3% chance that it's not true, but he also doesn't believe it's true.
Oh, shit. What?
I was watching WCW last night. I just gotta say this, talking about Steiner, and it cracked me up because they were talking about how both the Steiner brothers have education degrees and how they could have been good teachers.
Yeah.
and I was just picturing Scott Steiner teaching Steiner math.
What happened in the last episode? I think we did a Smackdown and Raw question
I
mark?
think so.
I
I
think we
just remembered a drug testing shenanigans because it's been a while.
Yeah, because I think we did Heat and Raw in one episode, and ECW that was episode 2. Then I think SmackDown and Raw happened last episode. So
Yeah, I believe so because we're kicking off with ECW today.
let's kind of quickly just recap what happened a little bit. We had Stacy Keibler uh, setting off her journey towards the women's championship, trying to kind of have her moment finally.
I'm
Gregory
impressed that the Stacy Keibler match did that well.
Gregory Helms defended his cruiserweight title against Funaki, and then Billy Kidman returned to the company because we needed to fill some spots, and he was still able to work. We've got London and Kendrick defending their tag titles against the Pitbulls, which was Kid Cash and Jamie Noble. And then William Regal came out and promised to bring a tag partner in to take those tag titles away from the Young Lads. The Miz came out and said he wanted to prove himself, and then Bobby Lashley appeared. That did not go well for the Miz, believe it or not.
It went about as well as you'd expect for something involving the Miz in 2006.
Yeah, we got we got a King's declaration
Because this is pre dirt sheet.
Yeah, and we got a King's declaration from Booker T, declaring that he will be cashing in an earned opportunity from winning the King of the Ring for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam to face whoever shall be the World Heavyweight Champion at that time. And then we get Rey Mysterio defending his World Heavyweight title in the main event against Finlay. And then on to Raw the next Monday. We had some stuff getting set up for this weekend's Vengeance pay-per-view. We got our introduction of the new Raw general managers as Vince McMahon brought his kids Shane and Stephanie out. But he had one more surprise because he wanted things to be fair and wants more than just the McMahon feud on Fins. And Bret Hart returned to the company for the first time since 1997, having just become a Hall of Famer earlier in the year too. But he is back to help run Fins on Monday nights.
And so we're making peace a little ahead of schedule, but not
4 years early.
Insanely.
4 years, well, 3.5 years early, whatever. Not too egregious. Then we had John Cena versus Shelton Benjamin, and then just a really good match where I wanted Cena to get a win. We got Bret Hart meeting Shelton Benjamin and telling him that he will be defending his IC title this Sunday at Vengeance. Triple H got a win against Rob Conway just to get Triple H momentum, and then DX reunited after the Spirit Squad came out to attack Triple H, and Shawn Michaels came and helped his old friend, and they had a realization where maybe the band needs to get back together. Then we had a hardcore championship match, and the match just to get Edge some momentum going into Sunday's triple threat as Edge defeated Ric Flair in a no DQ match. In what was match of the night, obviously. We can see that beautiful 90.
Yeah. You're probably going to want to circle back around to that too, just because of Flair's well-documented opinion on hardcore wrestling. The fact that he was forced into a hardcore match.
Yeah, I'm kind of intermingling Flair with the Foley Edge stuff, but I wanted to do Foley and Edge. I don't know if I talked about this on air, but I know Bill knows but I was going to run some Foley and Flair stuff, but they hate each other in this mod, so I can't really do it.
Edge might be able to fill in as a surrogate for it, though.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there in the future. We've got Mickie James cutting a quick promo planning to show how and why she is the women's champion on Sunday. And she is going to use it to send a message towards Stacy Keibler after she cut a promo on Friday. We have we go backstage to Bret. DX appear. It's a bit tense for a moment, and then Bret decides he's going to give DX what they want, and they have a World Tag Team title shot this Sunday at Vengeance against the members of the Spirit Squad who hold those belts, which is Nikki and Mikey, I think.
freebirding it, aren't they?
Um, they pretty strictly defended it, I
I
think, with the
I think it
two
was
that held it.
technically freebirded,
They just didn't really
but they
do it
just
right.
didn't do
They
it.
might have switched Kenny in there some because Kenny was the
Yeah,
one
because
they
I
had
think
big
Kenny
wins
was in
with.
some.
But it was mostly the Nikki and Mikey because they had even. I mean, Nikki becomes Dolph.
Yeah, I know. They saw big things in Mikey too. He didn't work out,
Yeah,
but I think they actually had bigger plans for him and Nikki than they had for Kenny,
yeah,
which is wild because Kenny Dykstra's so good. It should have been Kenny and Nikki.
yeah. And then Kenny was the one with the immediate push, but it didn't end up going well. And then in the
Yeah,
main,
because he pissed off someone backstage. I don't remember who it was, but
it
he
was
rubbed someone
Cena.
the wrong way.
It
Ah,
was
that'd do it.
Yeah, it was Cena at the worst time because they like both had a fin with Mickey James or whatever. But whatever. Then we had the main event for the night of Rob Van Dam defending the belts because he's the fighting champion against Randy Orton of all people. Randy eating a loss pretty early on here, but I mean he had a title match. That's pretty good. And then we got a go home
It's
brawl.
2006. We're about 3 years ahead of Randy Orton's real main event run anyway, so
Yeah,
not so bad that he's losing here
we don't have to rush to get there.
versus a current bona fide main eventer.
Yes. Or at least that's what we're trying to make him. Then we had a go home brawl between the triple threat
We just don't let
competitors
him
for
get in the
Sunday.
car with Sabu and we'll be fine.
Yeah. So now we are up to date, and we are gonna continue forward onto the current episode of ECW. Let me click here fast. Let me start the show before you guys get spoiled too much. And the show begins with Paul Heyman out in the ring, having to address some things about the ECW Tag Team titles. Because, not to
Some fuckers can't stay off the devil's lettuce for 1 week.
not to pull back the curtain too much, but this is ECW. Just Incredible has been suspended for a month. But, speaking of this being ECW, when we make promises, we deliver. There will still be an ECW World Tag Title match tonight, and it will open the show. So, that was pretty much the gist of Paul's promo here. He does reveal who the opponents will be. Which we see is Yoshihiro Tajiri and Mikey Whipwreck filling in the shoes, which is pretty appropriate, really, considering they had the first tag team win of the series at ECW One Night Stand. So, the new ECW World Tag Team Champions are Tajiri and Whipwreck, as they beat.
Who unfortunately have no stamina, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2006 Tajiri. I feel like that's he.
I think that's a mistake for 2006 Tajiri.
2006 Tajiri should have been fine, but it might be taken into account how he was out of WWE at this point.
Yeah, I think they forgot that he was wrestling all the time in Japan, which is probably harder than wrestling in WWE.
Yeah, he was making shots in Noah and stuff, so that's probably a mistake. Whipwreck is pretty fair though, but
Yeah, I'm not complaining about Mikey being gassed in 2006.
yeah, he's probably gassed in like '99, but whatever.
He was never the best wrestler. He was just a great character.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the score though. That's a fine enough score. I overestimated their abilities a bit. I wanted to get a steal the show match out of them, and I couldn't quite get there. I mean, Mexico seemed to be able to deliver, but the other
Oh
side
fuck!
couldn't.
You put Mikey in to steal the show. No wonder that went bad.
I knew it was gonna on
Nothing
him.
against Mikey. I like him, but it's not his style.
I was just hoping Super Crazy would.
Yeah, he's got to be able to play the. Mikey's good for like a storytelling style match where he can really play into his underdog status.
Oh, I guess Tajiri wasn't out of breath. It was Super Crazy. I was reading there. So I guess Tajiri.
Oh, you're right. I misread that too.
We both
I
misread
just
it.
saw Mikey and assumed it must be Tajiri, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, Super Crazy in 06, I can see. He was kind of tubby at that point.
True. I thought it was Tajiri because I thought they grouped them together, but I was misreading it too. So I guess Tajiri did all right and Psychosis did all right, but
All right, my
otherwise-
complaints have been rescinded. Because
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with Super Crazy having stamina issues in 06.
Yeah, same here. That actually makes sense. We both got messed up there, but the new tag team champions either way are Tajiri and Ripwreck. So I mean, it wasn't the original plan, but it's a state of Finns that I'm happy enough with. Like I said, Tajiri and Whipwreck did have the first win of the season, of the
Yeah, you'll just have
series.
to book Mikey more to his strengths and we'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. And they have history in ECW, so it works. It's fine. But with things changing, things really change. And holy shit, it's the Briscoe brothers. They have come out and they lay out brutally Tajiri and Ripwreck, making a statement
This
on their debut.
should have happened. I'm now mad that this didn't legitimately happen.
I thought you might like this. I thought you might like it.
You know I'm a fucking Briscoe's mark.
So, I've had the Briscoes signed the whole time, which I've kept under wraps. They were not going to debut this early, but since the whole Just Incredible thing happened, I figured, screw it. We need something for this tag division, and the Briscoes are that. So, here we are. And a pretty solid debut for them, really. It could have been much worse. So, moving.
The only downside is you're throwing them right into the title picture.
I'm going to try to drag that out a bit, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. It means either they have to lose right on entering the company, which is not great, or Tajiri and Whipwreck become transitional champions, and I'm not a big fan of transitional champions.
Well, I don't want to do that since the titles just came back too. So we'll see how it goes. I have.
I figure you've got some plan to salvage this, but that's just what I'd be thinking watching the show.
This is me just trying to put.
This is you on damage control mode.
Exactly, and I'm trying to. This is me as a booker trying to say I still have hope for this division.
Yes, please still watch the pay-per-view.
So, next up we get another segment. Rob Van Dam comes out to the ring. I know, weird, 2 segments in a row for me, but I try to switch it up some too. So RVD makes his entrance. Then we have him.
I mean, the Briscoes thing was more like the end of the match,
exactly,
rather than an actual full segment.
Rob comes out and he's cutting a promo on anybody who could be involved in that main event. Edge, John Cena, his actual opponents, but he also has his eyes on Lita and Mick Foley, who he knows will probably try to get their nose in the fins on Sunday. I just noticed the down 0.0. I don't know why that's not the white box instead of the red box, but so Rob's just cutting a promo.
It probably means that it did affect people's opinion of Cena, just not enough to actually move the score.
Yeah.
That's how I'd interpret that anyway.
Fair enough. Rob makes his intentions clear. He plans to walk into vengeance, still the dual champion, holding both ECW and WWE's titles. So he is going to have the Raw and ECW belts, and plans to beat Edge and John Cena, and still remain the face of this place.
Oh, I think I know what it is. Just looking this over.
Yeah.
Because Edge and Lita and Mick all got more popular because Rob talked about them. It's probably that Cena is perceived as a bigger star
Probably.
than Rob Van Dam, so the fact that Rob Van Dam's talking shit about him kind of lowered him a little bit in fans' eyes.
Yeah. At least it wasn't enough to actually damage him now, so
it didn't hurt him, but I bet that's how the calculation works.
You know what? This is actually almost a shockingly good segment for a Rob promo. So
Rob's better on the mic than people give him credit for.
Yeah, it's because WWE didn't book him well.
Yeah, and he doesn't do the shouty type promos that people, even in the mid 2000s, thought were like good wrestling promos. He was one because he was always kind of laid back and stuff, so people thought he wasn't putting much emotion into it.
Yeah.
But it works because there are people like that.
Yeah. Not everybody's got to be the same. So,
yeah.
Next up, we were teased with this last week from Paul Heyman. He said we were getting tournaments for both the new women's title in ECW and the return in TV title for ECW. So we're going to get our first women's title tournament match here, and I will kind of explain some things because you'll see something interesting here. But the first matchup is the newly renamed Karma Kong versus Dawn Marie. This is the first tournament matchup.
That's not a signing I was expecting.
I don't think I showed the I didn't show the brackets for either of these tournaments, but I think maybe we'll show them after the first round, because I this way I don't spoil any of the members. That might be surprises, but
I was wondering how you were going to get enough of a women's division in ECW to pull off a tournament.
yeah. But by the way, for the audience watching this, I've also hidden a lot from what I've done from Bill. So
I
Bill,
don't know anything ahead of what's happened. I've talked about booking ideas with Ryan, like just based on where we sit currently, but I have no idea where they're going with it.
yeah. So Bill's shock when it happens is genuine. Bill's not
Yeah,
just overselling stuff.
my role on this is to be the audience.
So the newly minted Karma Con, I might not fully give what I wasn't sure what name I was gonna stick with because she came in as Amazing Con was her original name, but of course she was Awesome Con in TNA, and WWE she was Karma. I kind of mixed the names.
I I think possibly she's due for a quiet rebrand to Awesome Kong. I'm
I'm
not gonna lie, I don't like the Karma Kong name.
I have a reason I did it, but I'm not gonna spoil it now because it plays into the story I have. So that's there is a reason for it. So maybe once we get to there in a month or so time in the booking, you might like it a little more.
And full disclosure, I fucking hated the name Rob Van Dam when I first heard it.
Yeah.
I
So
thought it was the worst wrestling name ever. And now, 30 years later, it's iconic and I wouldn't change it for anything. But when I first heard it, I'm like, oh my god, this is so lazy.
trust me, when I was renaming her, I was just gonna call her Awesome Con. Had it typed in Nerfin, but then I got a story note idea, and I was like, hold up, I can make something of this. I think.
I also hated Big Bill when that debuted. Now I really like that too.
I remember that, but now it's great.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what you call a lumberjack, not a fucking wrestler.
Anyways, we move on. We go backstage. Paul Heyman's there. Edge and Lita walk into his office. Edge got the Cena treatment here. Um, Edge and Lita are here to convince Paul Heyman into making some changes to his tournaments as they've heard there's still some empty spaces to be filled.
I figured when I saw that heading, I wasn't saying anything, but I figured Edge was going to talk Lita into the tournament.
So Edge smooth talks. Lita maybe does a little bit of seduction since it's 2006, but I'll leave that to the mind's imagination. I'm playing off a Raw segment from 2006 where Edge and Lita convince Big Show to be their tag partner. That is exactly the same thing I'm going for here. So we kind of see the start of it, but we don't fully know the full extent of it. But yeah, it's pretty likely that Lita is getting her way into the women's title tournament here. We can see there was a few people talked about throughout the time, and we'll get more on this guy later in the night. So next we will get our first TV title quarterfinal match, as that's where we're starting in the tournament. We get the Sandman versus Simon Dean. These two had a segment last week on ECW, and Paul Heyman made a tournament match of it. So this was also, I believe, all the TV title matches are gimmicked. So this was to Sandman's strengths, and Sandman does in fact win the bout. A solid rating for this one. Just a
terrible match, but people loved it. That describes Sandman perfectly.
Yeah, this was a
1-star match, 62%.
I did the segment last week, which was pretty fun, with Simon Dean coming out and having his moment. And let's make a tournament match of it, a quarterfinal match. And Sandman gets the win here, and it's just kind of there's a bit of comedy relief in here because everybody's laughing at Simon Dean, but
And it's ECW style comedy, so the humor is that Simon Dean's getting the shit caned out of him.
Exactly. This is exactly. Simon Dean's getting caned, and he's like, "Oh shit," or whatever. It's just good, and Salmon gets to get a shit in. So yeah. Then we get another fignet for the second week in a row on the man himself, CM Punk. But this time we learn that CM Punk will in fact debut next week. Kind of moved fast there, but not much to.
Not much you can say about a Punk debut.
Yeah, Punk's.
It has to happen for ECW because that was one of the best things about WWE ECW.
Yeah. So it's happening next week. We got a bit of a background on him last week. We got a little more this week, and then learned he's coming in to debut next
You were fucking over 2007 TNA.
week. Maybe a little. Next up, we get the next tournament match for the women's title as we get Mercedes Martinez versus ODB. And I am fucking TNA over by taking ODB, but I'm not at the same time because ODB I called up from developmental. I had her in my developmental, so I just called her up. I didn't even have to hire her.
In reality, WWE released her because she wasn't hot enough.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not joking. That's literally the reason they released her. And that's what led to her creating the ODB character.
This was the worst segment of the night, but that's fine. I was reaching again too much with this one. I set... I forgot to talk about this in the opener, but Pro Wrestling Sim got a small update where you can now choose the finishes specifically and stuff. So this match ended with submission from Mercedes, but
Nice.
Mercedes.
That's an important update.
Yes, it's great.
I wish they'd put that in TW.
So Mercedes, it's pretty close to what TEW has, although I would say the finishes are a little more thought out and specific, so it is a bit better that way because it outlines what each is and everything.
Yeah, I wish they'd put in where you could put the exact move because there are times that I want like a certain move to get over.
Yeah, you can choose the moves as part of this too. It's just that there's not any set since it's such a new update. So. But yeah, Mercedes wins here, and I'm booking these tournaments by each block. I start it from the bottom of the TV title brackets, but I started from the top of the women's brackets. So we will be getting Mercedes Martinez versus Karma Khan in the next round, which would be a quarterfinal match, I think. I
don't know how many people are in your tournament, so I can't help you there.
Yeah, and it's 16 in the women's and 8 in the men in the TV title, so it should be a quarterfinal match then.
Yeah. I'm impressed, actually, you got a 50 on that match, given that it's 2006.
Yeah. Mercedes is definitely better at this time.
She's
ODB.
5 years out from her peak.
Yeah.
And ODB is good, but unknown.
Yeah. Pretty good debuts, though, here.
Yeah.
I mean, ODB got a bit affected, but she lost, but she'll hopefully come back. Next up, though, Paul Heyman has an announcement for next week, and behind the scenes, this is the segment I kind of forgot what I had plans for that I told Bill about before we started, but I have since remembered, I believe, what my direction was for this. And Paul comes out, and he just announces that next week is international... It is international... What was my name for it? International Wrestling Week, I guess, in ECW, and we're gonna get all different styles next week, along with our regular tournament matches and our CM Punk debuts and whatever else shall happen. We're gonna get some showcase matches of different styles throughout the world.
Oh God, are you also stealing TNA's World Series?
As we,
you're just booking TNA.
No, it's not just that. We're gonna get a showcase of styles, and as we are introduced to some new talent, and getting back to ECW's roots of trying to showcase the best talent of different styles throughout the world. So that's, I'm not spoiling who's a part of it, but we're gonna have a showcase match for the Mexican lucha libre stylings, and we're gonna have a Japanese hard-hitting match as well. So that's that. And in our main event matchup, yes, I did book this. We get we get the Big Show versus Balls Mahoney. Um, I just needed to get Big Show on the show because he hasn't been booked yet, and I am sticking to him being on ECW for now, and I needed somebody to lose to him. So Balls Mahoney, you get booked tonight. And Big Show goes over.
I can't. I can't decide if this match would have been a sleeper hit or fucking god awful.
Well,
there's nothing in between. It would have either been surprisingly great or the worst. Just the absolute worst.
I figured it's ECW. They're using some plunder. I figured Balls probably gets some beautiful chair shots and garbage.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, it could be really good because Big Show actually has really good plunder matches. But on the other hand, this is 2006 fat and lazy Big Show.
That's the issue here, and we kind of see that in his struggling for breath, I think. But it is what it is. It served its purpose.
It's a TV main event that's actually being main evented by a promo with an excellent talker.
Yes,
it's fine.
Spoiler alert, as you can see the sidebar. But
yeah, that's where I got it from.
Big Show got a solid win. I need to establish him as a main eventer for ECW, even if it's half begrudging.
You do. I actually liked his ECW heel character.
It's underrated, and a lot of hate comes from it's fucking over RVD's momentum, but
yeah, a lot of hate comes from the booking direction rather than the actual performance he put in.
Yeah, exactly. But let us move on.
Because this was the beginning of his turnaround to actually being entertaining again.
Yeah, true. Let us move on, though, to the actual main event of the show, thank God. And this was kind of a, don't worry, this isn't your actual main event moment. As we get a segment with Mick Foley. He makes his entrance to a ruckus of boos from the ECW faithful as, of course, Mick Foley has turned his back on the extreme, the more extreme lifestyle and the ECW brand. He is a Raw guy. He is allied with Edge and Lita, and that comes to fruition here and help of him because he reveals in this promo. You guys saw my pals Edge and Lita having a talk with Paul earlier. Well, they got me. I am here to talk about the TV title tournament that is hot right now. My friends got me a spot in that tournament. And this Sunday, Mikey, I got us time on the Vengeance pay-per-view. And it will be you and I fighting in that tournament for the ever so prestigious for this brand TV title.
And Mikey probably thinks that Foley's actually looking out for him because they used to be friends back in ECW.
Yeah, this is, what was my character change here? This, I purposely booked the quarterfinal match of Foley and Whipwreck as a callback. And Foley talks about their past in this promo too. Whipwreck, you beat me. You beat me you beat me good back in the day. But I'm a different guy now.
Yeah. I still have fond memories of Mikey coming out to save Mick one time with like the shittiest weapon of all time. It was like a piece of drywall or something.
Yeah. This is supposed to be a very impassioned promo by Mick to close the show. He's laying out everything. He's in the tournament. He's fighting Ripwreck, and he's going to beat Ripwreck. It's not the old
I'm going to call it right now. He's going to beat Ripwreck with a dick kick.
We'll keep that in mind.
Just haul off and boot right in the nads when Mikey thinks that they're having like an actual like friendly wrestling match.
Oh yeah, that's right. I've got a. Okay, this was also to overhaul the Paul Heyman character, and because he came in as a heel, but I'm trying to have him as just a face authority type figure for ECW, so I just did that too. And now we shall end the show. Let us see our rating here. 75, I'll take that. It gained popularity in North America. And let us end ECW. I think this was a pretty good, solid show. I'm happy with it. A lot
Given that
happened.
there were get 75 for an episode with like no really good wrestling on it is pretty solid.
Yeah, it was,
Because this was definitely this was a segment week. The
and
matches were mostly kind of shit. The only one I would have actually like popped for going into it would be Mexicools versus Tajiri and Whipwreck.
and that under delivered. So
Yeah, but
yeah,
the segments you booked were good. Like
I very
stuff I'd want to see.
I very much acknowledge that I had stuff to accomplish in my segments this week, and I think I was successful in that aspect. My
Yeah.
all my matches I think under delivered besides okay,
You know what this is? This
Sandman,
is Winnipeg Dynamite.
yeah. Sandman
Mediocre matches, but shockingly good segments that still lead to a very good show.
Sandman and Simon Dean actually over delivered, to be fair, and actually Karma and Don Marie actually did really good too.
Everything over delivered except for the tag match that I would have actually wanted to see because Martinez versus ODB in '06 would have been a stinker.
Yeah. But let us end this show here, and we're gonna get Smackdown in before we end too. At least that's the plan. Anything important happen here? No. TNA holding explosion definitely isn't important. Let
Wow,
us.
WXW got into YouTube like 3 weeks after YouTube launched.
OVW has happened. Oh, I have an email. Let's see what the email is. Oh, summary of ECW I never looked at. Solid. Oh, let's look at this. Title win request from Matt Hardy. You boy. You.
See, you've got a lot of time to fulfill that. That's a good length of
Oh,
time.
by December, you know what? We can do that. That actually works
Yeah, I
perfectly.
like that because all the other booking games I've played, it's like I want to get a title around my waist sometime in the next month, and it's like fuck you. How am I going to book that?
It's either a month
But
or
he's
3 months.
given, yeah, but he's given you like 8 or 9 months, which is plenty of time to book a realistic story around him getting the title.
Yeah, he's giving me like half a year here. I'm gonna accept this promise, folks, and keep your eyes out because I actually already have plans that works out for anyway. So stay tuned. But anyways, let's move on to the next day here. To get to SmackDown, TNA have paired up Austin Aries and Roderick Strong. What geniuses! That's never happened before. Anyways, let's go to SmackDown. Fuck you, ROH. Anyway, this show has less segments
I'm
combined.
surprised TNA has Roddy in '06.
Well, they did in real life, but it didn't last.
That's why I've clearly forgot it happened.
Because they got him and Aries got themselves fired that year or whatever. Less segments combined in this show, but hopefully a little better wrestling. But we're opening the show here with Teddy Long's debut in the series as he,
All a player.
yeah, he comes out with some important stuff to say. Holla holla, we've got some important business to take care of as we need to discover. We need. We're gonna have.
Please tell me he makes at least one tag team match.
Well, there is a tag team match tonight, but that's not really what he's talking about. But I mean, we can pretend he is. But he's here to get down to some
I'm gonna
business.
get all the Teddy Long memes over the next couple of weeks.
Hey, I mean, he is setting up a match with the Undertaker, so. But Teddy Long cuts the main focus of his promo at first is we need to discover who our number one contenders are for Great American Bash to face Rey Mysterio for the World Heavyweight title. And to do that, I'm setting up a triple threat at the Great American Bash, and we're gonna have two matches to discover the contenders. One's gonna happen tonight as we get a singles match with top SmackDown prospects Mark Henry and Matt Hardy. And then next week, we will be getting a battle royal to decide the other contender for the world title. So, as he's going through the promo and he gets that out of his mouth, Kane Booker's music hits as Kane Booker and Queen Sharmell come out to the ring. Kane Booker gloats and points out how none of this matters because come SummerSlam, the King reigns supreme. But Teddy Long has taken this taking this in. And, well, he is going to allow King Booker to cash in his sort of matchup that he has earned as from becoming king. That doesn't mean that King Booker's life on SmackDown has to be a walk in the park. And tonight, King Booker is going to go one-on-one with the Undertaker player in the main event of SmackDown. Yes, I am popping that huge match on a random SmackDown, but there's more to that. So yeah, pretty big opener to SmackDown, really, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's good because one of WWE's biggest problems since WCW went out of business is that for the longest time they never seemed to put anything important on TV.
And I am a booker who thinks that important stuff should be on TV. You can build.
It makes people watch it.
You can. It makes your TV important, and you can use important stuff on TV to build even more important stuff on pay-per-view. It doesn't have to
Yeah,
be
AEW is proving right now that you can have like high-end matches on TV and still have plenty of stuff to fill pay-per-views. You just have to actually present people like they're important instead of 80% of your roster not mattering.
Yeah. So now we go into our first matchup, opening matchup of the night. We're not opening with cruiserweights tonight. Well, we are, but not in a singles cruiserweight title
I see
match.
2 cruiserweights in that match.
Yeah. As London and Kendrick successfully defend their tag titles against William Regal.
Holy shit, baby Sean Spears looks hilarious.
Against William Regal, who apparently has is trying out a tag part. Is this the guy he was talking about? He was bringing in. He's or is he just trying things out? As we have Sean Spears from OVW on SmackDown tonight. Regal should not be struggling for breath, by the way. I guess I did say that to steal the show.
No. In 06, Regal should be struggling for breath because Regal was in bad shape because of all the drugs he was using.
Fair enough. Yeah,
he admits that himself, that his body was pretty destroyed at that point.
If this was 04, I would say he shouldn't be.
Yeah, he shouldn't be gassed in 04, but in 06, he was in a bad place.
Fair enough. Regal took a bit of a hit, but that's fine. A solid matchup here, 3 stars. I'll take that. This delivered for me. I mean, Sean Spears, this is his debut on the main roster. He's not even called up. He's just here because Regal needed a partner trying to take the titles from these young lads. But Kendrick and London did successfully retain here. But moving on.
And you also made it a steal the show match, which would have tired out Regal more than usual.
Hurt Regal.
He probably could have done a 15-minute match fine if it was a regular match, but steal the show, even in 04, I could have seen him struggling with it just because it's not his normal pace.
Yeah. William Regal gets a mic after the match, and it's just kind of promo on Kendrick and London saying, "You thought he was my guy? No, that was just a test. I wanted to see how good you guys were and how good he was. But he's not the guy I was talking about last week." And out comes Dave Taylor, and they are laid, and London and Kendrick are laid out by Dave Taylor and William Regal. As we learn, Dave Taylor is the man that William Regal was talking about last week.
And I am possibly the only North American wrestling fan marking out about Dave Taylor in 06.
I saw Dave Taylor sitting there in OVW, and I was like, you're 48. If you're getting a run, you need to get it now. So, Dave Taylor is William Regal's new partner.
I love British wrestling, so...
Solid segment. I will take that. Next up, we get the first of 2 number 1 contendership matches that Teddy Long outlined earlier, as 2 of SmackDown's top hot prospects go face-to-face with Mark Henry and Matt Hardy facing off. All the M and H names going off against each other here. So, what happens in this matchup? Matt Hardy really tries, but he doesn't really get too far because Mark Henry looks like a monster in this matchup. And defeats Matt Hardy for that spot in the triple threat at the Great American Bash.
I think this match was probably hurt a bit by the nature of the booking games, too. Because it said Henry was tired by the end of it.
I think I made this match too long.
But the point I was going to make is if this match really happened for 12 minutes, Henry probably wouldn't have been tired because he doesn't have to move that much. Most of it would be Hardy running around like an idiot and bouncing off him.
Exactly.
So I think he'd be fine in a match of this length against Matt Hardy because Hardy does all the work.
Yeah, exactly. And this game doesn't have the extensive stuff that TW has, and like you can't make somebody. There's no like limited involvement option, or there's no like
Yeah.
domination option really. You're just
Yeah, but
working.
it's assuming it's a 50-50 match and Henry's trying to keep pace with Hardy.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't do that, and if he did, it would be a shitty match because the match should be him standing there and being big and opposing, while Hardy just like runs into him and falls down because he's so strong.
Yeah, exactly. And so
That's how you book a big guy against a little guy.
commentary kind of touches in this matchup after Henry wins here, and it's like, well, things aren't looking too hot for Rey Mysterio as we've got a monster in that matchup so far. So hopefully Rey's luck gets better next week with whoever wins that battle royal. But next up, we just got a quick backstage interview with Gregory Helms as he gives his thoughts on the return and Billy Kidman. And the interviewer for Smackdown, I have decided it's going to be Josh Matthews because he has nothing else to do. So, yeah, he just gives some thoughts. Says, okay, Kidman's back. I'm not worried. I know I am the best in this division. I have been proven that since the Royal Rumble when I took this title. And I was a Raw superstar and I came to SmackDown because I won this title. I know I'm the best in this game right now. And Billy Kidman isn't going to stop that. It's a simple promo, something like that. It doesn't have to be exactly that, but we're just shooting here, working with what comes to mind. Okay, well, this match kind of sucked, but here's our cruiserweight action for the night, and I didn't really have anybody good for Kidman to face this week, so, the Fairy, your book. I'm not...
It's too bad they had bad chemistry. I was actually looking forward to that match.
It's not that the Fairy's a bad worker, it's just nobody cares about him in 2006, so...
No one cares about him in 2006 and they had terrible chemistry.
Yeah, the chemistry really hurt. It probably would have been...
That probably would have been a 60 rated match.
Yeah.
If they had good chemistry.
Kidman didn't even get a pop boost from this. That's how fucked this match was.
Yeah, you just made people care less about Daivari.
At least he looked like a threat, though. I guess that's nice.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. He'll need to look like a threat as he is facing a hell of a champion in Gregory Helms at the Great American Bash. I don't know if I made that official technically, but I mean, that's where we're heading, obviously, so...
If you hadn't made it official before, the fact that Helms cut a promo on Billy Kidman as his opponent makes it official.
Exactly.
Gregory's clearly accepted that match, whether or not Teddy's gotten around to making it official yet.
So,
and we all know in wrestling, once the champion accepts the match, it's happening.
Yeah. Next up, we go backstage again. Josh Matthews might be shaking in his boots a bit as he's interviewing Mark Henry here. But Mark Henry with a simple message. He's going to break Rey Mysterio in half at the Great American Bash and take that World Heavyweight Championship as his own. Simple but effective. I mean,
does that game not have the ability to have people off screen?
No, he is off screen, I think, but it just shows.
I think you messed that up because working with Rey Mysterio helped everyone learn in this segment.
It does that in all the stuff. I don't know.
That's what I was saying. Like, does it not actually account for them not being there? Because Rey shouldn't help that segment. He's not there. It's all on Mark's talking strength. The only thing Rey should do is just provide a popularity boost if people care about his matches.
I mean, Mark got that note too, interestingly enough. So I guess Mark is maybe in a decent position here, then more decent.
I guess so. I wouldn't consider 06 Mark Henry really a veteran yet, but apparently the game does.
But yeah, I mean...
Well, I suppose he's been doing it for 10 years by that point.
I mean, you said earlier 2006 is when he kind of started to put it together a little bit, so I guess...
He did, but it's more than just putting it together before I expect you to be like a locker room leader who can guide others.
This is definitely over-delivering, though, because that should not have been at 83, but I'm happy with that. I mean...
Maybe Josh carried. Maybe it was a hard carry by Josh.
We'll see. I
Because
mean,
Josh was a good interviewer. Like, I joke about him, but he's good.
yeah. I mean, I picture him being very intimidated interviewing this guy. I did give it 4 minutes.
Yeah, but
He said more
if he
than I
can,
said, but
yeah, if he can sell it that he's intimidated by Mark Henry, that's a good role though because it tells you that Mark Henry is scary.
yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to. Mark Henry is certainly being positioned as a top heel here on SmackDown. I want him to
I
look
have a
like a
feeling you're
monster.
setting up Hall of Pain Henry early.
Not quite, but we might see some early hints that that's a possibility. But I'm not going to fully lean into there yet, mainly because I don't want to go there if I can't fully get behind Henry. So, but let us move on. Bobby Lashley comes out. He's just holding an open challenge for his U.S. title, and former WCW U.S. champion Chris Kanyon answers and re-debuts in the company. That's all this match was here for. I wanted to re-debut Kanyon. Lashley gets to defend his title. That's all we're doing.
Sometimes that's all you need.
I'm just trying to get Lashley reps here, see how he's doing for me.
And hey, doing that might save a life.
Yes.
I'm not even joking there. Like, literally, if someone had given Canyon a chance in, like, '06, he might still be with us.
Yeah. And Kanyon is certainly an underrated performer. He was
I freaking
available.
love Chris Canyon. He was so good.
He is available. I figure he can have a spot on my roster, and he will be a SmackDown superstar going forward. And hopefully, we
There
can.
was a lot people could have done with him. It's really too bad that everyone got scared about using him because he came out as gay.
Yeah, hopefully we can pay more respects to the performer that Kanyon was, because he deserved it. Anyways, we're setting up to get out of a bit of a dark zone. Let us set up for our main event as Rey Mysterio is making his first official appearance on the show, and he's just coming down the ringside because he's going to watch the match at ringside, do a bit of commentary for the
Let's
main
get out of
event.
this dark zone. Now watch us talk about our undead wizard.
We've got a big matchup. King Booker's coming after the World Heavyweight title, so Rey Mysterio is just out here scouting talent. I mean, hell, we are revealed. It's revealed to us also that the Undertaker's in that battle royal next week, obviously. So
Yeah, and even if Taker isn't in the Battle Royal, if Ray survives the triple threat, he's probably going to end up facing one of these two.
exactly. So it's a very important matchup. This is SmackDown's best, and Ray is the champion. He needs to be aware of what's going on. So, of where he is and aware, what is he aware of? He's aware of these guys had a hell of a matchup going 25 minutes. Really good matchup
You
scores.
needed that match.
Did need that match. I went a little too far with this, trying to get a. I don't. I was trying to get a real epic out of these two, but they not quite prepared for that. But they still did well considering they weren't fully prepared for that stamina wise. The intimidating presence of the Undertaker had it. Sweet. Star Power also. Okay, it was Steal the Show. I couldn't remember if I stole the show or if I hit the epic
You
offshoot.
might be overusing to steal the show just from an outside perspective.
Yeah, I don't know. It's supposed to work off the skills set, and I just have been not paying attention to who can probably do that, because you need a 70, and I'm not sure either of these guys have a 70. They might be in the 60s, so I just pulled it. And it's stamina too, and I don't look at stamina enough, so that screwed me over multiple times.
Yeah, I don't know if Pro Wrestling Sim has a storytelling
It doesn't.
match aim.
That's why it's limited on its match aims. It's make a guy look good, embarrass a guy, steal the show, a comedy, and like
Well, I take that back then. They really need to get on that because storytelling match aim is a lifesaver for booking like older guys like Undertaker
and
and Booker at this point in his career.
and I don't want to. Sometimes I'd rather take the chance on trying to steal the show than just saying to make a guy look good, because then the other guy
Yeah,
might
that
take a
that
hit.
that inherently buries the other guy.
and I didn't want King Booker to take a hit here because
No,
he is losing the match and losing clean, by the way. King
he should
Booker,
lose clean to Taker.
he's losing to the Undertaker, which is why he didn't lose popularity. Because
Yeah, and Taker's the babyface, so Taker should win clean.
and
Babyface wins clean, heel wins dirty.
and spoiler alert, and a bit of a tease for future episodes to get you to come back. Business is not done between these two, so stay tuned. But tonight, in the main event of SmackDown, The Undertaker goes home with the win, just winning with a tombstone pile driver. King Booker eats the pin 1, 2, 3, and Rey Mysterio trying to on commentary trying to act like he's okay, but there's a bit of a tone in his voice. Maybe Ray in his head is hoping that The Undertaker doesn't win that Battle Royal next week because he's already got Mark Henry to contend with, and that's already going to be a challenge. So yeah,
Okay, so I know who's winning the Battle Royal next week.
you actually don't. But we'll see what happens. And then the show, let's see what happens. 72, it didn't beat the ECW show. I actually thought this would beat the ECW show, but I guess I did have pretty good segments on the ECW show, to be fair.
The ECW show had killer segments, and the matches on this show underperformed.
They all underperformed besides the
Except for the main event. The main event was great.
yeah, the main event lived up to what it
An
needed.
86 rated main event is really good, but like below that, your highest rated match is what, 69? Nice.
Very nice. And I'll take that for those two as well, because I mean Matt Hardy was killing it in 06, but Mark Henry was just kind of putting it together in 06.
Yeah, and the way the game rates the match, I think that match realistically should have been higher.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it should have been penalized for, like I said, I don't think it should have been penalized for Henry running out of air.
Yeah, I think it should have been in the 70s realistically, but whatever.
Yeah.
Solid show overall. Set up some stuff, got some stuff accomplished.
And honestly, 72 for a middle of the pay-per-view cycle, SmackDown is pretty good.
Yeah, I still have like 4 weeks to set up for the Great American Bash. 5, 6, I don't know.
Yeah, and SmackDown's roster isn't exactly great at this point,
No,
so...
I've actually been struggling with booking some of these shows because of the SmackDown roster. I've been hiring people to fill in some blanks, but you haven't met all those people yet.
You had to call up Sean Spears from Developmental. Like, that's how bad your roster is right now.
I legitimately had nobody to pair with Regal on the SmackDown roster that worked in a role enough. So I just said, screw it, let's see how somebody from OVW does. Sean Spears was right there. I was like, okay, that works pretty well. I'll do that. That was my thought process. I did not have anybody on SmackDown that would work as Regal's partner.
I figured because otherwise it would make no sense to call up Spears, but I know what your roster looks like, so...
Yeah. So, at least Dave Taylor's here now. That'll help us a little bit. We have Billy Kidman. He's here because I really needed some face cruiserweights. I don't know. I don't have faith in him long term.
Justice for Kidman.
I don't have faith in him long term, but he's gonna help in the short term. And yeah,
You have a rabid fan base that will be pushing for Kidman. He's my boy.
I have. Well, you might help him then because I don't have faith in him right now. But I do.
I loved Kidman back during the dying years of WCW.
Oh yeah, he was certainly he had a high potential and a good future in front of him, and then he didn't suddenly. But whatever.
Because of terrible booking.
Yeah, but I have other people you guys.
And Hogan.
And I guess we'll end the show here, and we'll look at how much money I made. Okay, there's an email there. We made ticket sales, good number. Another Finn here.
Yes, Regal's getting a match before July.
Before July 24th, so I've got a month. I've been admiring the work of Steven Regal, and I love to work with him. I mean, I don't really like that because it's heel hero. I mean, I could just do it to make him happy, but I also don't really care about the fairy, so this could go either way. Um,
I don't see a benefit to pissing him off, honestly. Like,
I'll just accept it. I could honestly, I could just put it on Heat as well. I don't need to put it on
or do a
SmackDown.
three-way. Putting them
Could do
both in
that.
with a babyface. He didn't say he only wants to work with Regal.
Yeah, I could try that as well.
Like some babyface that needs to overcome the odds, have him up against Davari and Regal
Yeah,
in like a triple threat with air quotes, where it's really 2-on-1.
yeah,
But by calling it a triple threat, you get around accusations of favoritism, and you also work around Davari's request to wrestle Steven Regal.
yeah. But that will be the last show we booked today. This actually went longer than I thought, but I'm fine with the series. I'm really enjoying going in depth on laying out my stories and making sure and giving some behind the scenes stuff as well. But I'm really enjoying trying to get in on the stories that I'm trying to build here in this one. And I'm enjoying building these angles. So next episode, like we already said, we'll come back with Vengeance 2006. That'll probably be the only show we do. Although I might throw Heat on the end just to get it out of the way. We'll see though. Um, and yeah, I mean, a big pay per view ahead. I'm not gonna click in to show you guys because it's gonna spoil some surprises. But yeah, and we're making great money still. We have made millions of dollars since we've started this series. Um, Stay tuned for ECW and Smackdown. Vengeance is a Raw exclusive pay per view with a bit of ECW sprinkled in, but ECW next week we've got. I'll leave some teases here, I guess, but we've got that International Wrestling Week with the spotlight matches for the Mexican and Japanese stylings of pro wrestling. Stay tuned for what that is. CM Punk will debut. We have more tournament matches. I won't spoil what tournament matches. I haven't even shown the brackets, but I'm going to wait for the first round of each tournament to be over to do that. And yeah, that's ECW. And then I can't really tease Raw because we've got Vengeance to do. But I mean, we know for Vengeance that we've got that big WWE title triple threat match coming between Edge, John Cena, and RVD. What else have I already given away? Shelton will be defending his IC title against who we don't know. DX, Shawn Michaels and Triple H will be facing off against the Spirit Squad for the World Tag Team titles. And I think that's all I've refueled. No, we've got Mikey Ripwreck and Mick Foley. I refuel in this ECW will be having their quarterfinal match on Vengeance to fill.
So we're going full 2006 WWE. We're having a pay-per-view. We might tell you what's on it. We might not.
Yeah, pretty much. It's Great American Bash 2006. Um, and then next SmackDown, we know
I was thinking of December to Dismember
that too. Yeah.
with the two announced matches, only one of which featured ECW talent.
Yeah. Yeah, true. And then, of course, the next SmackDown, we know we have that Battle Royal coming to decide who the other member of that triple threat match for Great American Bash will be. And I think that's all we've given away for that one, so I don't have anything else to tease. Anyway, guys, we're gonna head out here for the day. That was a fun episode. We got a lot accomplished in those two shows. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and share if you would like to. Make sure you come back next episode as it's pay-per-view time. And we will see y'all later. Peace out.
Have a good one, everyone.